This is a really helpful exercise. Let us just spell it out for you. When you're getting something from someone that you don't want, start by saying, wait a minute, it's not what they're asserting, it's what I'm asking for. All right, I'm going to get real with myself. What's going on in my vibration? Esther found something yesterday and the day before in her vibration that she has been denying for her entire life. And it showed up in an exchange with someone she loves. And suddenly there it was for her to see. There it was, something that she did not believe that was there. An old thought that she used to think a long time ago that's still right there. And because it's there, the other person isn't even acting on a conscious basis often. Law of attraction's just got hold of them because you're running the show with your vibration completely. So what you want to say to each and every one of them is, I'm so glad to meet you. You're going to behave exactly as I create you to do. And they're going to say, wait a minute, don't I have free will? Not in my world. Let's clean that up. Of course they have free will, but most people are offering very sloppy vibrations. So when you start slopping up your vibration, then you start getting stuff that you don't want to get, and then you start looking for a different person. But you're going to find it everywhere you go if that's something that's still active in your vibration. Before we move on to the remedy, let's torture each other a little longer here. Because our friend earlier was talking about vibrational or emotional paradoxes. And we say there aren't any emotional paradoxes because what you've got going on vibrationally is going to be matched with precision. So if you're getting something, it's coming to you as a precise match of something that you're offering. So if you're getting something that you don't want, then you've got a vibration that you want to adjust. Don't you love knowing that? This is what hands in the clay is. And how are you going to know that if you don't have a life experience that causes you to look for it and find it? Yes? Because your inner being is not going to assert that knowledge into your experience. You've got to ask for it. You've got to attract it. Play with this a little bit, if you will. Let's identify some other emotions that don't feel good. And then let's talk about vibrational matches, emotional matches, and maybe circumstantial matches.
Sure. Well, the insecurity, but like a lack of, just like the I'm not doing it right, the lack of abundance or lack of knowingness.
Find an emotional word for that. I feel ineffective. Someone said it earlier and you didn't want to hear it. Unworthy.
It's not unworthy. It's more like incapable.
Incapable?
Yeah.
I don't know what to do.
I'm doing it wrong. I know what to do, but I am clearly not doing it. Otherwise, what I would want would be coming.
I'm doing it wrong. What's the emotion that comes with I'm doing it wrong? Guilt?
Shame, anger. Yeah.
Guilt's the deepest one.
Yeah, guilt.
What are some perfect harmonic, emotional, vibrational matches to guilt? Blame.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Defensiveness. Yes.
But the thing that we want you to hear is that when you feel guilty, you attract blame and then you feel defensive. So you're defending against your own emanation of vibration.
Sounds exhausting.
But it isn't, because once you get a handle, it sounds exhausting, but we're going to give you two options. You can figure this out, which we're going to do in the next few minutes, or you can train the whole damn billions of people on the planet how to respond to you.
Let's go ahead and figure it out.
You can start printing the pamphlets now. Here's what I need from each and every one of you. Here's my picture. When you see me coming, these are the things I need from you. Start with your personal family. That'll go well. These are the things that I need from you. Then branch out to your friends. You've got no choice. If you want to deliberately create your own experience, you got to acknowledge what you're doing vibrationally, which means what you're doing with your thoughts that is causing you to attract unwanted. That's it. That's not difficult. That's easy. And the blessed others just keep showing up and performing for you. Here's a demonstration of something you've got going on vibrationally, is what each and every one of them could say to you if they just knew how it was working. All right, so now here's where it gets good. So let's say that you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You're feeling good most of the time. And you meditate every day and you align, and what's in your vortex is easily received by you, and you follow your impulses, and you just feel really good most of the time. You rest well and you follow your bliss. You make lists of positive aspects and you just feel really good. That's what you emanate. And so that's who you attract. That's just who you attract. But you are also an expanding being. And you are never going to be without some gap. So there's always going to be something that you're going to ask for that is going to call more to you, sometimes through them. So start with the idea that you're tuned in, so most of them are too. That feels pretty good. Now start with the idea that you're not so tuned in and most of them aren't. But in any case, you're in the driver's seat. In any case, you're the one who's attracting the behavior or the words or the whatever to which you are having an emotional response that you are blaming on them. We know we are repeating over and over again, but we really want you to leave here knowing that whatever's coming to you is by your invitation. You might be creating by default. Esther she was offering a vibration that she would not admit until she saw evidence under the lens of a new emphasis that there is no assertion, there's only attraction. And she had to admit once and for all, I'm doing this to myself and using you as the cooperative component pawn who is giving it to me. That's freedom, folks. That's freedom. That's freedom. So now you might be saying, well, there's more for me to do and I can get better at this. But what we want you to hear from us is that you've sensed this for a long time, maybe even before you met us. And you were surrounded by those who refused to let you blame them. So you've been turning this back on yourself for a long time. Mm-hmm. And that's why you feel not prepared or not good at it and so willing to take the blame. But your inner being is not blaming you. There's no blame. That's like driving off on the shoulder of the road and feeling the little bumps under your tires and then being so embarrassed that you went out of your lane for a minute when the guideposts are there all along. All right, so now where are we? Where are you? You all right?
Yeah. Feeling quite good. And then in that moment where there's something that I legitimately would just love to change his behavior so that I felt better, I know for sure that that is not what I really want.
If that person would change his behavior so that you would feel better, all of this conversation has been a waste of time.
That's what I mean. I don't want anyone to have to change their behavior.
And you'll never, ever be able to get to where you want to be because you're counting on things that are external rather than things that are internal. It's got to be between you and your inner being, you and your inner being. That's the harmony you're reaching for. And when you find harmony between you and your inner being who's lined up with everything you want, then others will be inspired to give you the things that are in your vortex, not the things that you didn't put in there. Isn't that nice? You put things in your vortex. It sounds a little bit like we're trying to teach her how to make him be different so that she can get what she wants. That's exactly what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. Because he is like the cosmos. He's like the universe. He's like all of the people. He's like the whole conglomeration of all of the people. And he has the likelihood of responding to the dominant vibrations that you are offering. Everyone is. So now we're sort of back to where we were. If you can hang in there for just 2 or 3 more minutes, you're going to have a breakthrough. We all are going to have a breakthrough about human co-creation. We think we've convinced you pretty good. You were right there on the verge of understanding this. You've understood it in other times. So you're right here understanding that there's no assertion, there's only attraction, and that you get what you offer. You accept that, you own that, and from this point forward, you'll pay attention to that. But what about the other person? Now, this is really interesting. The other person's doing exactly the same thing. So there's 2 of you who might be in alignment and you might not be. So let's say this other person, like you previously in this conversation, has some hang-ups about a relationship and they're really active in his vibration. And you've got some hang-ups. So don't you make a perfect match? But in this case, we helped you not be a perfect match to those hang-ups. So if you're not a perfect match to those hang-ups, even though he's got those hang-ups, is he going to be able to evoke those from you if they're not active in you?
Right. No.
If you don't have those hang-ups and he does, are you going to be able to evoke them from him if they're not active in you?
No. No.
He's got all these relationship hang-ups, let's say, and he's really worried. He's scared of a relationship. You called him in for a minute and he remembered how good you are, and then his old relationship hang-ups came flooding to the forefront, and you met him right there. But now we've had this conversation, you're not so likely to meet him there. You're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. You're focused upon positive aspects, not just of him, but of life in general, or relationships in general. So that's not active in you. So if it's not active in you, can he meet you there?
No.
One who's connected to source energy is more powerful than millions who aren't. So doesn't it feel logical that every relationship that you have will be transformed with this new clarity that you are now emitting? And isn't this why earlier in our conversation today we were wanting you to not be so wanting to look at what is? Because when you look at what is, you just keep it. Oh, this was a really wonderful conversation, because you now understand how things are coming to you and why people treat you the way you do. Esther said to someone the other day, you are being inconsiderate of me. You're being inconsiderate of me. And Esther's thought was, and I'm considerate of everyone. I'm considerate of everyone, and you should be considerate of everyone, especially me. You should especially be considerate of me. And then she remembered, there's no assertion. So nobody can assert their inconsideration at her. There had to be something active in her that was inviting it in. And when her thoughts went in that direction, she found 5 things.
And then what do you do when you find those things? Because when I look
Laugh. And acknowledge and understand and let them off the hook and let you off the hook, and thank the universe for the blessing of understanding, and move forward and let that resistance lift off of you, and notice that even though others will be inconsiderate, it will never be to that degree again, and you can clean it up anytime it happens.
So beating up on yourself is the not correct answer then?
It's the default position for a lot of humanings, because you don't want to blame others, because you know what happens? When you say to someone, you're inconsiderate of me, you know what they do back? You were badder than me. No, you were the baddest one. No, you were the baddest one. No, you were the baddest one. As everybody loses their mind and is no longer in alignment with who they really are. We're exaggerating this ever so slightly. Feel better? Doesn't it make sense to you? Does it make sense to you?